Today we're going to be testing some popular ghost hunting equipment, everything from EMF meters to a Ouija board. Before then, however, if you're new to my channel, hello, my name is Laura and I post videos here about some of my paranormal explorations and musings. So that's what we're going to be doing today by taking a look at a variety of equipment and later on, stay tuned, testing them out during a paranormal investigation. As you can see before me, I have a selection of ghost hunting equipment. These are the sorts of things that you might see being used during a paranormal investigation that you might watch online or via the television. So we're going to be unboxing these together and I'll give you my first impressions and even a little bit about what these different tools are supposed to do. And then I want to take them outside on location to actually put them to the test and see, do they perform when used in a paranormally active environment. To give you a little quick peep, I do have EMF meters, I have some inexpensive options and also the more high value option, which some of this equipment I've had for a while. These items have come from a variety of different places. Some of them have come from the online marketplace Temu, as I know that's very popular at the moment. So this video isn't sponsored by Temu, but full disclaimer, some of these items were sent to me by Temu for a video on my main channel. But I'm going to give my honest opinions here as I really want to see how they perform, particularly these EMF meters against a costlier alternative and whether these can actually be used within a paranormal investigation. Since I have 4 different EMF meters, I think I'm going to start there. So I have 3 cheaper options that came via Temu, and they represent, I would say, the range of EMF meters that you normally see used by paranormal investigators. And then I have what I would say is the professional option, and of course professional means more expensive option, the tri-field, which is a device I've used for a long time now. EMF meters, what are they and what are they supposed to do? So EMF stands for electromagnetic field, and these devices measure changes in this electromagnetic field within a given environment. So there's actually different energy fields within that. There are magnetic fields, electric fields, and in the case of the tri-field, we can also measure radio frequency fields as well, and they each come with their own measurement scale. The idea behind an EMF meter and why it might be used in a paranormal investigation is that paranormal investigators propose that spirits, other unseen paranormal entities have the ability to manipulate these energy fields, or indeed that they themselves may be made up of this energy, and therefore by measuring, by taking this environmental reading, we can see, we can sense, we can measure their physical presence within the environment which is being investigated. They're also very useful to take baseline readings before an investigation actually begins, and from there you can then see if there are any changes or anomalies in the course of an investigation. Let's begin with this one. In particular, it measures in milligauss, which refers to the magnetic aspect of the field. So we can see here, quite basic, it has the colored LEDs, which are quite archetypal for these sorts of devices that you see being used. Slot for the battery, very simple. I'm not sure whereabouts the sensor is on this. Presumably it's near the top of the device. So it seems perfectly good, perfectly fine. I've no particular comments, just looking at it out of the packaging. Obviously we're going to test it later on and see how it performs. So let's take a look at the next one. This one, I think this one is more of the classic design that you would associate with a paranormal investigation. Again, you have the different colored LEDs, this time across the top as opposed to down the middle. And again, it is measuring in milligauss. This will be measuring magnetic radiation, and typically we might expect power lines and things like that to emit this. So of course, if you're investigating outside, it's good to be aware if any of those things are nearby. Straight away, they're both quite similar. They're both highly portable and very straightforward in regards to being able to clearly see from green through to yellow, orange, red, the strength of the magnetic field that you are measuring. Finally, from the Temu options is this. This one also has a temperature sensor, which is also very useful in a paranormal investigation, given how things like cold spots or even warm and hot spots are said to be a sign of ghostly activity. So this one is very clear. I do like this straight away as opposed to these. This one is very clear where the sensor is, well, presumably on this antenna, so that's nice to know. It has a nice backlight. In fact, it appears to be measuring in 2 scales, not only magnetic but also the electric part of the EMF scale as well, because we can see it has volts per meter. And here is my tri-field. Again, another EMF meter, but what sets this one apart from the other 3, in addition to its price, is the fact that it very clearly measures the 3 different measurements of the electromagnetic field, and that's magnetic radiation, electric radiation, and radio frequency. So here it is. Very clear screen and a very clear, easy to use dial which tells you precisely which field you are measuring. So what I do really like about this tri-field is that it has the option in the back that you can actually turn the sound off and also the backlight off. So if you are doing an investigation where you don't want it to be making noise all of the time, you can completely switch that off. If you don't want any lights on and you just want to set a camera up on it in the dark, you can do that as well. Or equally, if you're doing something else and you want it to alert you when it has a high reading, by putting the sound on, you can very clearly hear that. So it's a really flexible device. I really enjoy that about the tri-field, and I've been using it for a long time and I've never really had a problem with it. So it'd be interesting to see how it compares to the 3 cheaper alternatives. I have had really quite high readings on this in the past, which I would consider to be anomalous, given that they were achieved in the middle of nowhere, not close to any power lines or radio towers, certainly no wired electricity or anything like that. So they can be really interesting and pose that question as to what are you picking up in terms of a reading. So it would be interesting to see if we can capture something like that later on for you to see on camera. Next up, we have this little portable REM pod. So a REM pod emits its own EMF field, and the idea behind it is that by using this antenna, you should be able to detect when that EMF field is broken, thus signaling that something, possibly something unseen, is close. So as you can see, when I pick it up, it goes off, and when I get progressively closer, it goes off. So again, like I said, the idea is that you would take this to a paranormal investigation, you would set it up somewhere where you hope you might get spectral traffic, and that when you hear it go off, it's signaled an anomaly, that that EMF field has been broken by hopefully not someone just walking by, but something strange. And then you can then begin to question why that might have happened. What I particularly do like about this is that if you think about being in a dark environment, having the sound and the light illuminate and become audible when it's triggered, it's very clear when you have a reading, when you have something interesting. Also very good for jump scares. Moving on, something which is tremendously popular in the ghost hunting scene these days. This is what I love about paranormal investigators. They become ingenious and at recycling things that are not meant to be used within a ghost hunt. And I think LED cat balls are a perfect example of this. They are toys for cats, which contain a sensor inside which illuminates when it's triggered. The idea behind these is that they contain a sensor, in this case a tilt sensor, which when it rolls, it triggers the light to come on, the circuit completes and the light comes on. But of course, if you have left these cat balls alone and stationary in a place with no traffic and no cats, they shouldn't go off. So when they do go off, the theory is that something unseen may have affected the tilt sensor within them. I've actually taken apart cat balls in the past because I was really curious to see what was actually going on inside in terms of circuitry and how you might get anomalous activity from them. So generally speaking, when we're talking about tilt sensors, there's a small tube inside with metal ball bearings in, and when this tube is tilted, the ball bearings run along the inside of the tube and thus complete the circuit. It's quite simple and very physical, which I like. It's a very physical thing that has to take place in order for the circuitry to be completed. So if this ball is stationary and not being rocked around or vibrated by somebody walking by, it really shouldn't go off. Next up, a very fun one. We have Ghost Tube Lens, which actually comes from my good friends Amy and Jared from Amy's Crypt. It's meant to be used in conjunction with their app Ghost Tube Seer, which I've shown on this channel before. It is the newest of their apps, of the Ghost Tube apps, and I actually love this app. It uses AI in order to generate an image, which the theory behind it is that it is generated, influenced by electromagnetic field readings that have been manipulated by unseen paranormal entities. So the idea behind Lens is that you can take your mobile phone and slot it into this headset, this VR headset, so that you can actually become fully immersed in the Ghost Tube Seer experience. You can also try out digital scrying. You might want to use this in conjunction with other paranormal methods like the Estes method to see if you can get crossover messages. So I've used this before. It's great. I'm going to have a lot of fun showing you this later. And also, just an additional comment, this is such good quality and so comfortable. When you are there, becoming immersed in the paranormal, it's so nice to have something that is actually comfortable to use. Last but by no means least, we have a spirit box. I think these are very, very popularly used in paranormal investigations. And what they're also called hacked radios, spirit boxes, ghost boxes, Frank's box, because they are essentially a modified radio that scans frequencies, AM or FM frequencies, constantly and adds white noise in there as well. The idea is that when you turn it on, spirits are able to manipulate the radio frequencies as they come into the device in order to construct messages. There we go. This is just set to one frequency at the moment, but I can change the sweep rate, and then if I hold that, you get the idea. This is not new to me. I'll turn that off so you can hear me. This device is not new to me. It's something that I use somewhat regularly. In particular, I use this in order to do Estes method sessions, which are sensory deprived sessions where you have an audio input. And a lot of people talk about how spirit boxes may be pareidolia and how you may hear things in the audio that is not necessarily there. And whilst that may be so, I would caveat that by saying that when I use a spirit box, I don't necessarily use it to actually listen to what's coming through, which I know sounds strange. It's almost like I try and tune in, or rather tune out, so as to be able to hear the voices underneath the sounds, if that makes sense. But tonight, when we use this out in the field, I want to try and keep it a bit more traditional. I won't be doing an Estes method. I'm just going to try and use this as most people popularly seem to use these devices, by having it play as we call out and try and speak through it. You know what's odd, actually? This sounds silly. I don't actually know if I've ever used a spirit box in that way. I think I do Estes method so much that I might only have ever used it like that. So that will be interesting. It will be a first for me, and I can't wait to have you there to experience that as well. So there we have it. They are all of the tools that we're going to be using tonight. There's quite a few of them, but I think it's a good representation of the popular gadgets, gizmos that you see being used in paranormal investigations. Let's get to it. What more is there to say? Let's get to it and try these out. We're here at Coed y Bont, a patch of woodland just outside of Wales's Strata Florida Abbey, an abbey that is rumoured to have had monks who once transported the Holy Grail to it, passing most likely through these mystical woods. In addition to this, the woods are rumoured to contain a spectral harpist, and you can actually supposedly hear the sound of the harp being played at night. Also, of course, the infamous Beast of Bont, a big cat, or possibly something a bit more supernatural, rumoured to have predated on sheep in this area in the closing decades of the 20th century. So a woodland that has more than its fair share of local legends, and this is where we have come to test out those popular ghost hunting tools. So we're going to go in there, it's night, it's dark, and see if we can come across a spectral harpist or even the ghost of a monk transporting the Holy Grail. I'm just gonna say I'm wearing a hat and also a hood, so I can't hear anything. And I'm going in first. So let me know if you hear that harpist. Hide. It's a bit cheated in here though, isn't it?
Oh, it's perfect. This is we found a creepy little cabin thing in the woods, man.
Oh, okay. So we found a bird hide in Coed y Bont, and I think this is going to be where we set up and take a look at some of the equipment that we have brought with us tonight. So I'm going to start by taking out the cat balls and the REM pod and just dispersing them in the area around us before we actually start investigating and asking out. We've set up a camera locked off on a tripod here, so once we put these down, if they do come on, it should be able to capture them without us constantly having eyes on them.
Okay.
One.
Okay.
There we go. Don't stand on those.
Yeah.
So I'm just setting up some of the EMF meters here, including this one, where it has a couple of different options on it. You can get it to tell you the temperature, so it's 9, it's dropped from 9 degrees C, 48 Fahrenheit, and then you can put it on to measure. Not getting any readings from it though. Let's have a look. Should I be able to pick this up? So if I just use the tri-field to get a sense of... See, like it seems to pick that up. I don't really seem to get a response from this. Despite experimenting with this EMF meter, I struggled to get it to display a reading. It seemed as though the sensor was not very powerful. Not only that, the backlight turned off by itself after a limited amount of time. Not very convenient for being able to see readings in low or no light. Given that the cheaper alternatives for EMF meters seem to have a preference for milligauss, I think it's a good idea that we keep the tri-field on the magnetic setting as well to give a fair comparison tonight. There we go. So, baseline, good. Nothing particularly unusual to worry about. We're getting a peak of 0.3 with a steady average of 0.1, so that's entirely normal, no anomalies. We're in the middle of the woods. There shouldn't be anything here, no pylons or anything like that in order to make that have a spike.
Woods are so creepy. I think it's naturally.
Yeah, I know. And the sky is so clear tonight. I can see the stars just straight through the canopies. Oh!
That was me. Oh. Is it lighting up? Whoa. Whoa.
It's about to call out. Okay, it's not stopping.
Okay.
I have the torch like in my hand here. I do have the phone on me. I'm just going to put some distance between me and the phone, okay?
Okay.
Shouldn't be doing anything anyway, but okay. Let's actually start calling out then. So I would like to call out to any spirits who reside in these woods. My name is Laura and I'm here with my husband Eric. We're here to speak to you if you would like to speak with us. Listen to your story. Communicate with you. We've brought many different items with us that may help facilitate your communication tonight. For example, in my hand, I'm holding a device which if you touch it, you may be able to make light up. There are different colours across the top. Maybe you can light them up. Maybe you already have illuminated them. On the ground, we have some little balls. If you touch them, they'll light up as well. And there's also a silver stick, an antenna. If you go near that little black box with the silver stick on it, if you walk by it or touch it, it'll make a sound. None of these items will hurt you. We come with all respect. They're merely a way for us to be able to attempt communication with you, to find out what it's like where you are, and if you would like for you to share your story with us. I'd also like to ask our guides and our loved ones, come round us, protect us tonight, please. Help us with this communication. You can also speak with us as well if you like. Are you a musician? Is there a musician here? I like music. I would love to hear your harp. Do you play the harp? Can you give us a sign of your presence? Are you here with us? I took a moment to turn the sound off the tri-field meter. After, I focused my questioning on the local legends associated with the woods in the hope of provoking some sort of response. I'm looking for the Holy Grail. Do you know about that? It said that it was transported here and then away to Nantios Mansion. Do you know about that, my love?
Yeah.
You do know about that? Thank you. You know about Nantios? Or the Holy Grail? You okay?
Yeah, I just by the camera, I just feel like there's seeing something there.
Directly in front of it?
You like to the left of it.
Is there someone there? Are you standing by the camera?
Just gonna quickly move this over to see what it is. In here.
There was nothing visible present. Shortly afterwards, it began to rain. We just had a quick rain break. We've put everything back out because it seems to have stopped. So let's see if we can ask again about the Holy Grail. Nantios Mansion? The Abbey? Someone seemed interested in that. Do you have a story to tell? It's an owl.
Is there someone here who'd like to talk about the Abbey? Thank you for making the lights go off before. Can you do it again? Would you like to attract our attention? It won't hurt you. Thank you. Are you connected to these woods? Are you connected to Eric and I? Would you just like to say hello? Thank you. Hello. Is there a message that you would like to give? Just a hello.
It seemed as though whatever had triggered the EMF reading was content just to say hello. Despite attempting to use the other EMF meters, we could get no further responses. Similarly, neither the cat balls nor REM pod were activated, and so we decided to move to a different area.
So we're in a different part of the woods now, and we're going to try and test the spirit box that we have brought with us. I'm also going to set up the REM pod again at a short distance from us to see if that will trigger whilst we're using this. Okay, right. I'd like to call out to any people who are here in this woods, here with us tonight. My love.
Yeah.
As soon as we began, the REM pod went off. Upon inspection, we found it on its side on the ground. We cannot confirm how this happened. It may have happened naturally. It is interesting to note, however, that there was no wind that night, and the device had not fallen over earlier in the evening, despite being left out for an extended period.
I would like to call out to any spirits of love and light and pure and good intention who may be with us here. My name is Laura. This is my husband.
My name is Eric.
You're welcome to try and communicate using this in my hand. Can you say hello? What's your name, please? Can you see us? Can you see us standing here?
I heard yes.
Do you have a message for us?
You okay?
Yeah, just so I could hear something faint over the...
Maybe it's just the sound echoing
Yeah.
a bit.
It's just really eerie using this in the woods like this. Oh, it said yes.
Yeah.
How many of you are here with us, please? Can you give a number, please?
1.
Is that 1? Before we mentioned some legends about the Holy Grail. Do you know what that was about? Perhaps you were there and you heard me speak about that. Do you know what that was about? Are you hearing anything?
Maybe. It does seem to dip down.
Yeah.
doesn't it?
It's like you can hear the static or the white noise just dip down and then a voice come through from underneath. It's so difficult in the moment to hear though. Are you here with us? Can you say something clear? A message? But I heard, yes, I am.
Yeah, I think I heard that as well. If you want to try, perhaps slow it down.
Slow it down. Okay. So that was on the fastest sweep rate, and on this you can actually adjust how quickly it skips through the stations. So we're just going to try and slow it down. See if that makes a difference. Much slower now. Is this easier for you to talk? What's your name, please? Can you say your name? Mine is Laura.
Thought I heard something in Spanish.
Can you see us? Can you see us?
That was a solid yes, wasn't it?
Maybe. Is there a message you want to give to us? Are you able to give us a clear word? But I heard, are you there? Very low. We're here to listen if you want to speak with us. What does the world look like where you are? What was that?
Turn that off.
What was that? It was like a big bang.
Our spirit box session was cut short by a loud bang. Captured on our microphones, it was significantly louder in person. No source for the sound was discovered. With that, we decided to move on to our last experiment, using GhostTube Seer with the lens headset.
We'd like to call out to any spirits present with us here. We have something new. If you're able to communicate with us, please. In front of me, the man in front of me, my husband Eric, he's wearing something on his face. If you can interact with that, you might be able to show him an image of yourself. Can you do that? It won't hurt you. Go up and touch.
Oh, we got an image coming through.
Okay.
It's a compass, I think.
Okay.
On a dirt floor. Not sure exactly what that means.
Are you lost?
It's pointing downward.
Towards the floor?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Or like that direction behind me.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a bit weird, isn't it?
Are you looking for something? Is that what that means?
Is it behind me?
Are you standing behind, perhaps? Weird.
That's always a nice thing to perhaps suggest, isn't it?
Yeah.
I have to stand calmly here without being able to see.
It's okay, it's so dark, you're not missing much.
I guess, that's true.
Can you show something else, perhaps? Can you show an image of your face? Can you show another image, please? Thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you for that.
Can you show us something else, please? What does everything look like to you? Where are you? We can see, well, it's dark where we are, but there's trees. Can you see trees also? What can you see? Can you share an image of what you can see, please? Perhaps you can show us the trees. We'd be very impressed if you could do that.
I got a little bit of a sensation. Like,
Uh-huh.
I like some chill just like around my front. I've been coming around here.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of weird. Oh,
Image?
oh, that's a horrible image.
What?
It looks like I don't know, someone eating somebody in like a green jungle background, like a forest.
A forest?
Like a jungle forest, I'll be honest. But
Okay, so definitely not this one then.
Yeah, there's two people and they seem to be eating each other, I think. I don't know, it's quite a disturbing image.
Oh dear.
Yeah. Don't like it. Will that suffice as a final image?
I think that might suffice as a final image.
Okay.
Thank you for speaking with us.
Thank you for speaking with us.
Goodbye now.
Goodbye.
And so we drew our investigation to an end. It had been a night of many experiments, some more successful than others. Whilst not every piece of equipment produced results, it is crucial to remember that you can never guarantee paranormal activity, and so I look forward to using certain items such as the cat balls again in future. Even then, overall, I was very impressed by the equipment I had used, most especially one of the more affordable EMF meters. Whilst of course not as precise as the Trifield, it clearly provided thought-provoking readings, ones which were seemingly validated by our microphone, which detected some sort of audible frequency change at the same time. In terms of some of the other pieces of equipment, I very much look forward to being able to use the REM pod again in a more controlled environment. For example, indoors, away from changeable weather conditions. As ever, I greatly enjoyed using both the Spirit Box and Ghost Tube seer with lens, if not entirely the undeniably disturbing last image Eric and I received alone in the woods. So there we go, testing popular paranormal tools. I really hope you enjoyed this video. I've enjoyed sharing this with you. I've enjoyed investigating with you. Go ahead and leave your thoughts in the comments. Were you particularly impressed with any of these devices? Has my investigation made you reconsider your opinion on any of them? I really would love to know. If you're not already, please go ahead and subscribe so that we can interact again in another video. There's so much more that I want to share with you on this channel. And if you haven't already watched some of my other episodes, why don't you go ahead and watch one now? Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.